Hello and welcome to the ratings of United in Stormwind for Druid and also for Demon Hunter. Our first card is Metamorphin, which is a 1-mana 1/2 taunt. If you cast a Fel spell this turn, gain +2/+2. Fel spells are pretty far in between, there are not a lot of them. And to make an archetype all around Fel spells is not a good idea in my opinion, and a 1-mana 3/4 with taunt is probably not gonna save it. I think this card will not see play, but it'll probably see some experimentation. But I think this is a 1-star card. Sigil of Alacrity is a card that I would rate 5 stars, probably 3 or 4 stars in most other classes, if not all of them, except for Demon Hunter, because this card is an insane 1-mana play, mostly for almost all control/mid-rangey decks that don't have a lot of 1-drops that basically want something to play on turn 1. But Demon Hunter obviously has its hero power, which is 1 mana. So this means that this card goes in a way of 1 damage into face. Is that good enough? Probably not, but this works well with the quest line. Also, it's an absolute horrible top deck, which means that even with the quest line, which I'm gonna look into later on, this card gets a 2-star rating and is lucky to have it. Okay, Fel Barrage is a 2-mana spell that basically deals twice damage to the lowest half enemy, which also can be 4 damage to face, which is good as a finisher. When for example, your enemy has low health and a big taunt, you can use this and kill them. This card is actually very good in my opinion because it's twice dealing 2 damage that can clear token boards and some mid-tier minions. And for 2 mana, it's really efficient. Even though it's a Fel spell, I don't think the Fel spell synergies are going to help it at all. But this is still, I think, an include in most Demon Hunter decks, so I'm gonna... But which Demon Hunter decks? We have Nephrattle Demon Hunter, which is definitely going to stay. We are gonna get onto those cards in a minute. But we have Quest Demon Hunter. This card would be pretty good because you need something to throw out. This is pretty cheap. Also, you get your Murloc 3/4/1. This is going to see play in Nephrattle Demon Hunter, but it will probably get taken out as soon as people realize that Nephrattle Demon Hunter doesn't need 4 damage to face. Which means this card is getting a 3-star rating. Chaos Leech is in some situations better than I-Beam and in some situations worse. This should see play in all control Demon Hunters, maybe Quest Demon Hunter, but I don't think that deck is going to even work. And Nephrattle Demon Hunter, I think, has no use for this, as it has almost no use for I-Beam. So I think OTK Demon Hunter will use this with Elganoth. That's the main use of this card. And it will be pretty good at that, but it will not see play in the best Demon Hunter deck, so I think it's going to get a 3-star rating. Lion's Frenzy is a weapon that you actually need 3 attack to be even worth it, and even then it's pretty much not worth it. You have Lifesteal Weapon, Unreachable Blades, you have how you call them, the Warblades, free weapon that you can attack multiple times. Warglaves of Azanoth. You have the Soul Fragment weapon, the 4-2 weapon. And this weapon works only with a quest, which is supposed to be an aggro weapon, which means you're probably gonna use cards that generate soul fragments because you technically draw cards. I think the quest should work with soul fragments, and if it does, this weapon will absolutely see no play because you're going to run 2/2/4 weapons, maybe one lifesteal weapon, and that is it. You're gonna want a lot of soul fragments, and this card will just not be worth it because you get a pretty much the same weapon for 4 mana, and you also get a benefit for your quest. So this card 4 mana free for Felgorger that draws a Felspell and reduces its cost by 2. Again, Felspells are few and far between, but technically if you play it on the same turn, it's technically a 2 mana for free. Would I want a 2 mana for free in my deck? Probably yes. It depends on what type of deck. Also, if you think about it, Deathrattle Demon Hunter has no use for this, and this will be the deck for Demon Hunter. OTK Demon Hunter will probably use this to draw their lifesteal stuff, but you also have to think of the fact that most Demon Hunter spells are felt that are used in the OTK deck, so I don't think this is going to get used because Demon Hunter also has so much draw. When I think about it, this card is really a 2-star card. I don't think it's good enough to see play in practically any Demon Hunter deck that will see play. And here we have the first card that I actually think will be an instant staple in the best deck of the class, which is going to be Deathrattle Demon Hunter. Persistent Peddler is a tradable card, which means you can cycle it from your deck, and also technically is a 4 mana 8/6 with Deathrattle synergies with Demon Hunter. This card will be auto-included in all Deathrattle Demon Hunters, and with the tradable keyword on top of that means you're almost 100% guaranteed to get the 4 mana 8/6 that this card promises. So this card is definitely a 5-star card, which will see play in every single Deathrattle Demon Hunter. Irebound Brute is a 7 mana 6/7 that basically is 6 mana always. And 6 mana 6/7 taunt is not that bad. It's an ogre with taunt, which is decent. Nothing like special. It's never gonna see play apart from Arena, but still, you have the additional benefit of having multiple card draws. And I think this deck will find its place in OTK Demon Hunter with Il'gynoth, because you draw many cards in that deck, you need to draw your whole deck basically to get the combo off. And this card will be a good stalling tool to basically try and stall the opponent before you can get your combo off. So this card is gonna be a 3-star card. Jace Dark Reaver is basically a finisher. But when you think about it, there are not that many good Felspells. Again, there is a lack of insane Felspells that you would want to recast. This card could technically see play in some deck, but it's not going to be Deathrattle Demon Hunter, and it's definitely not going to be OTK Demon Hunter. Someone will try to build a Fel Demon Hunter, but I don't think that is going to work in any way, and Quest Demon Hunter probably won't use this card as well, and that deck is not that good. So I'm gonna give this card a 1-star. And finally, the Demon Hunter Quest, which is going to be having insane synergy with Soul Fragments, which is, I think, the only thing that will carry this, because the Soul Fragment package is insane. You have, of course, you have Soul Jailer, you have the 4-2 weapon, you have the 5/5 that adds 5 attack. This could work, but it's not going to, because basically the reward is punishing you for completing the quest. You draw 4 cards in one turn, then you reduce their cost. Then you reduce the cost again when you draw 5 cards. But most of the time you're going to draw soul fragments, which means you're probably only discounting 2 to 3 cards. And the reward is that the cards you draw cost less, but the problem is that probably will affect tops 10 cards, I think. Only like 10 to 15 cards if you're super lucky. Which means that basically you get a 5 mana 7/7 that makes your whole deck cost 0. Because this Demon Hunter will almost always run only low cost cards, which draw other cards, which do almost absolutely nothing. This quest, as all quests will, they will see a lot of experimentation to see if they work. So I'm gonna give this a 2-star, because it's gonna see quite some play before people realize that Deathrattle Demon Hunter and OTK Demon Hunter are very. Now onto the Druid cards. Sow the Soil is a card which I love, because it's the 1 mana choose 1 treant card that we missed for so long, since like Descent of Dragons basically, because we got the gain +2 health and taunt or summon a treant. And this card is better because it works with Token Druid and acts as if a little, if you can call it, a little Savage Roar for 1 mana. Or for 2 mana you can get an actual Savage Roar almost, which I think is really good. This card would definitely see play in Token Druid. Quest Druid will not work. So probably Token Druid, probably Primordial Druid, and maybe Miracle Druid. Who knows? These decks will probably see the most play, and I feel Sow the Soil will be very good. And I'm gonna. Vibrant Squirrel is an insane card. It's 1 mana 10/5, and who wouldn't want to run it in their deck? Primordial Druids, Spell Druids with with the new legendary. Quest Druids probably as well. And then you have Token Druids, and Token Druid will be a great archetype once again. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say that this could be the thing that replaces Gibberlink. I know Gibberlink can go with big high rolls, but I don't think that the Gibberlink is worth it over the Squirrel. It's a very different kind of effect. You don't get it right away, which also delays its power. That's probably what Blizzard wants, and that's why they nerfed Gibberlink to give place to the Vibrant Squirrel. And I think it's going to be very good. 4 stars. Composting is a very, very weird card, because it basically rewards you for destroying your board, and that's the one thing that Token Druid doesn't want. Token Druid wants to keep its minions, buff them, and then kill the opponent. But is it actually worth it? Drawing cards in Token Druid is absolutely no problem. You have 3 mana draw 3, and you also get a constant card draw. With constant card draw, Druid is okay, because it has so many insane token cards. That's why I think composting will not see play. You need at least 2 minions to get this to normal value, even though it's gonna probably be delayed. Also, silence exists. So I think this card will get a 2-star. Probably will see quite some play before people realize that this card does not win you the game, which means it's useless. In Wicker Claw can potentially be 2 mana 3/4, When I said 1 mana free for a conditional taunt would not work, would a 2 mana version of this work? Also, you have to account for the fact that you can gain multiple attack in a turn, but that's hardly gonna happen. Also, your opponent might just kill the 1/4 version. You can get a permanent attack, you can probably get some stupid gonk combo or something like that, then give it charge and go face. But that's never ever going to work. Just because Quest Druid will never work. And I think Vicar Claw won't work as well. 1 star. Oracle of Alone is a card that could be very scary. You see Celestial Alignment, you see Aviana Coon, and you think, holy shit, we're all gonna die. But the truth is, we already have Germination, which sees play in Miracle Druid. Or Celestial Alignment Miracle Druid, or however the hell you wanna call it. And that's basically the same effect. This just has it constant, and it's a minion that takes up board space, which in Miracle Druid is extremely vital, in my opinion. So I think this card won't practically fit in anything, because Token Druid uses almost exclusively spells, and minion Token Druid doesn't work these days, and it won't work now. So I think this is a 2-star card just because of the amount of experimentation it's going to see with Aviana Coon and also the standard Miracle Druid. Kodo Mount is a very nice card. It essentially is a delayed 2 for 2 tokens with Rush, which is really good for 4 mana. It's basically 2 times deal 4 damage to your opponent. The problem with Kodo Mount is the first time you're not going to get the rush, so it's basically +4/+2, which is not bad, I guess, with the delayed effect of summoning a 4/2 Kodo. But where would this card see play? That's the big problem with this card. Token Druid has way better buffs in Arbor Up. You basically get 2 procs, 2 minions on board, and you basically have Kodo Mount, but basically better because you get the effect right away. So OTK Druid is definitely not going to use this. Some sort of Plague Maw, Taunt Druid? No, that's not going to exist. And here we see the problem. It's a decent card which will see absolutely no play anywhere, which means it's going to probably suck. Park Panther is a card which is decent, but is really nothing special because the Druid quest just won't work. And that's the main problem with this. Token Druid is not going to use this. Quest Druid will use this, but Quest Druid sucks. So I think this is going to be a 1-star card. Best in Shell is a very good card, because if you think about it, it's 14 in stats for 6 mana. That's very good. You normally get around 13 stats for 6 mana. Here you get 16. And it's spread across 2 bodies. Best in Shell is a card that can be used as a defense option. But where? I think this card is way too slow to be used in a Token Druid. And Quest Druid won't work. So probably Primordial Druid. Yeah, Primordial Druid is a good guess. The problem is, do you actually want to use this card over like Primordial Protector, or just kill them with Clowns? And also because it's not a minion, it's not going to be as efficient with Survival of the Fittest, which I think is a main turning point for this card in Primordial Druid. I think this card is a 2-star just because how basically good the vanilla stats are. People are going to try and shove it into as many decks as possible. Sheldras Moontree is a card. You can probably see because I'm reviewing it, but it is a very, very good card on paper. Now you have to think about it in practice. You have a few spells that you want to cast. Maybe guardian animals. Survival fit is definitely because it's +8/+8 if you play Pokeheld. Best in Shell. And that's probably it. Also, how does this effect work with Ysera's portals? That is very crucial for the interaction because if you draw when cast spell, or cast when drawn spell, does the effect apply or not? That's interaction. If I get the legendary, I will try it, but I don't know. So this card is high in potential power level, but where would it see play? Probably Primordial Druid. You just slap it in there and hope for the best. Also, you have Primordial Protector, which will help you a lot. And that's the main thing, the synergy with high cost drawing minions like Primordial Protector. Will this be enough to warrant being a tier 1 deck or tier 2? I think yes. This card gets a 4-star because I don't think it will fit in all Primordial Druids. But Primordial Druid will be insane with this card. And the Druid questline, which should probably be called Lost in Disappointment, because it's disappointing. Gaining attack is pretty much an aggro thing. Druid's own aggro deck is Token Druid, and Token Druid has Armor Up, one of the most insane cards ever printed, in my opinion. And gaining 8 armor and 8 attack in one turn for 5 mana 8/8, that's not a game changer. It can be a finisher, but with the insane health gain that we got, and also with the amount of aggro that is rampant in the meta, the reward basically doesn't help with almost anything. The attack is basically 8 face damage, and the 8 armor is basically just the armor, so you're basically playing Guftata for the armor and for the body, not for the attack. This, almost like all quest lines, it's going to see a lot of experimentation, but in the end it won't work. And that means that this card is getting 2 stars. That has been the first review of United in Stormwind of Demon Hunter and Druid. Mage and Hunter are up next. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.